From Springtide Research Institute, this is 13 to 25, a podcast where we explore how young people ages 13 to 25 grow into identity, spirituality, and well-being. Through research and real conversations, we hear directly from youth and young adults, as well as the experts and practitioners who walk alongside them. We're here to share lived experiences, big questions, and hopeful insights into what it means to support emerging generations today. In the between of being and becoming, this is 13 to 25.
Hello, everyone. This is another episode of 13 to 25. We're so excited to be talking to two different young people today about an organization that has really had a strong impact on their life. We have Springtide Ambassadors spread throughout the country who have been involved in these episodes. We have two young women with us today that come from different parts of the U.S. They're in different time zones, different stages of life, but they both have really great stories and examples to share. So let's get into it. If you don't know me already, I'm Marte Aboagye. I'm the head of engagement at Springtide. And let's hear from our two guests today. Would you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Rachel. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm 20 years old. I attend Christian Brothers University where I'm studying psychology. I'm someone who's really passionate about psychology, mental health. I'm really interested in research and how it can inform psychological practices. And I'm specifically passionate about working for people with disabilities, which is something I'll be talking a little bit about today.
Yes, Rachel, it's so wonderful to have you in our Springtide Ambassadors Program. And those passions that you just named, I've seen already in getting to know you over these last 7 or so months. You definitely care about people and relationships. Psychology drives you so much. And it's been fun to see how Springtide's focus on research and applying research feeds into those passions when it comes to mental health, when it comes to understanding how people work and how to support different communities that uplift folks with disabilities. So love hearing about who you are, what really interests you and excites you about not just Springtide, but about just the world in general. Esra is also with us today. Would you introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm Esra. I'm from Middlebury, Vermont. I'm 17, so I'm going to my senior year at my high school. I'm really excited to be applying to colleges this year. I think something that drew me to Springtide was the research focus. It's a research institute, and I'm really excited to go to a university with a lot of different research opportunities in a lot of different fields, just to kind of figure out what I want, but also really hone in on probably looking into maybe psychology, maybe going into the medical side of.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And good luck in the college application process. I know it is no small thing to just figure out even where you want to apply, all the different deadlines and materials you have to gather. We love hearing, though, that high school students like yourself care about research. I think you're going to have such a leg up on many peers in school because you're already talking about mixed methods research. You're talking about applying data findings to all different contexts. And the fact that you're considering psychology, and Rachel's already super invested in psychology, is going to make this conversation fun. Not that it's necessarily about your academic pursuits, but we want to understand who you both are as people and what's a single group or organization that really has impacted your life. But to set us up for that, I want to know how you would describe your personality in just a few words. And if it helps, maybe think about how a friend would describe who you are and how you show up in the world.
Yeah, so I think a lot of my friends would say that I'm very detail oriented, whether it's taking notes, completing schoolwork, or even just noticing little things about people, because I am very relationally focused. I love talking to people, meeting new people, asking people questions, and just learning who people are. I'm also like just always kind of like paying attention to others. I'm very vigilant. And also I'm very goal oriented.
I see that. I see all of those traits in you and love that your friends are affirming them for you as well, Rachel. What about you, Esra? How would you describe yourself or how would your friends say you are?
I think that definitely with the people that I am friends with, I'm a really like loud, like bubbly person. I really love making new friends. Like I really like finding new people that I have a lot in common with. Like it's just something that I get really excited about when I make a new friend and stuff like that. I think I'm very caring, and they would say that too. I'm always the person that like, drives everyone home and like makes sure like everyone's okay, everyone got home safe. So that's like a really big passion of mine, is just like taking care of other people. And that goes for my friends too.
I see that in you as well. I see the bubbly part of you. I see the deeply caring part of you. And I see similar traits in the two of you, which is fun with these podcast conversations, since we always bring in two young people, who may only know each other a little bit through our Springtide Ambassadors Program, but we get to go deeper into who you each are and what has made you who you are. Let's start with an organization that has shaped you in some ways. That's what Springtide's studying all throughout 2025. We want to know, what's a single organization, if you could pick one, that currently you're involved with, or maybe you're involved with more in your teen years, that really has impacted you in a positive way.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about Shepherd's Haven, which is a ministry for adults with special needs. I started volunteering there when I was 12. And so I was in 8th grade. It was the summer before, or maybe it was 7th grade. Anyway, so I started volunteering there. And so at that age I just didn't really feel like I connected anywhere at school. Like I wasn't super great at academics. I wasn't athletic. I couldn't sing. I wasn't good at art, things like that. So I was really like searching for meaning, belonging, and I was like lacking a purpose in my life. I really struggled with my mental health through my middle school years. So once I found Shepherd's Haven, I started volunteering there during my summers and school breaks, things like that. So at Shepherd's Haven, they serve a population of adults with special needs from 18 all the way up until like 80 or 90. And they all have really diverse needs. So, yeah.
I mean, the fact that you were 14 when you started in this, and you're serving people older than you through so many different stages of life, even just that the span works with adults from ages 18 to 80 is so unique, so cool. And that it really gave you that sense of meaning, purpose, belonging. I mean, these are core themes that Springtide has studied and will always care about, that young people are asking bigger questions than most people give them credit for. And so that you're a young high school student who's looking just to be like, who am I? That middle school is tough for so many, but the ways that you were even able to identify that it was particularly tough for you, that you didn't feel like you had a space to really thrive in terms of other activities and connections, and that your passion for mental health, it sounds like, was spurred by your own experiences. But that this type of volunteering and supporting adults, even when you're a younger person, was really making a home for you, is so significant. I'm wondering if there's like a special memory that stands out to you. I'm sure there's many, but is there something that you could really draw out as something that you return to in your mind, even something that you could paint the picture for us about?
Yeah. So kind of touching back on the mental health component, I just feel like what's been most impactful is like seeing the change like within myself, like since I became involved in the organization. Like I know we briefly touched on like how it was like me supporting adults, but through that, like it kind of gave me like a meaning and life purpose and reason to get up every day kind of thing. But also like like in elementary and middle school, like when I was really struggling with like insecurity, depression, things like that, I didn't really, I was very much introverted. I didn't enjoy talking to people. But once I got involved in this organization and then eventually many other organizations, I kind of like came out of my shell, developed confidence. I became more responsible. I became more like attuned to the needs of others. I just kind of like found like a trajectory for the rest of my life. And I know that sounds kind of big, but it just kind of helps me like end up to getting where I needed to be.
I mean, it does sound big, but in a good way, in a really like significant way. This group has given you so much, starting with Shepherd's Haven and then continuing on into where you see your career passions even aligning is no small thing. And I just want to applaud the leaders who could say, yeah, we want to take a teenage student to be in this role. Like they could have said, oh, you're too young. Oh, you haven't had enough life experience, but you were interested. And they said, yes. So just people even saying yes to other young people, taking young people's interests and questions and hopes seriously is a major thing. It can lead to something as significant as this, or it could even just say like, yeah, young people can belong here too. They can exist alongside other generations, other adults. And it sounds like it's giving you a sense of confidence. It's giving you a sense of meaning, purpose. So much of your identity has connected to this one group. Is it also a sense of community for you? That's another theme that Springtide is always curious about understanding. And if not, where would you say your sense of community is?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that the relationships I've built there is kind of like what keeps me going back. Just because like, everyone wants to feel like they're contributing to the world around them. Everyone wants to feel like seen, known, loved. Everyone wants to feel like they can be themselves. And so being in those environments has really helped me kind of find that sense of community. And now I'm in college and I'm not able to be as involved with Shepherd's Haven as I was in high school just because of time and having to work, things like that. But even now in my other jobs, I work at a summer camp for individuals with disabilities and also do some babysitting and caretaking jobs for adults with disabilities. And honestly, like, I know I'm in college. It's kind of like the time in life you're supposed to be going out, having fun, doing all those things. But I'd really like choose like a babysitting job over any of that just because I just love feeling like I'm contributing and feeling like that safe sense of community and security in that. So, and also I think it's really cool that my community has kind of became intergenerational because the people I work with can be anywhere from in their 40s to in their 60s. And I've developed a lot of friendships that are even just like 5 to 10 years older than me. That's been really helpful in like mentoring and guiding me, things like that.
I mean, this is really tremendous because so often college students are only with college students. Like it's rare, honestly, to have intergenerational relationships for young people. Our society often isn't even built in a way to even invite that. And so the fact that this type of work, this passion for you has afforded you to find your place, but also know people from really different stages of life and to be contributing to some of the same community building together, that these relationships it sounds like they've become your people in many ways and so pivotal to who you are and how you're showing up in the world. So this is awesome to hear about. Was the on-ramp to so much of what you're about and what you see yourself doing now and certainly beyond this season of life as well, it sounds like. I still just want to give snaps to the people who said yes to that 14-year-old who wasn't so sure about herself, and all the qualities it's grown in you. And this just the sense of compassion and commitment to helping others is no small thing. So love that example. We'll hear more about it with some other questions I have, but I want to go back to you, Esra. What organization would you want to lift up today? Something that you're currently involved with or previously that's really impacted you?
Yeah, so I started volunteering at somewhere in my town called Project Independence last summer.
Okay.
It's like an elderly care home, but it's like a day care type of situation.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's like we always like say like it's the only one in the country. Because it's like a day care service. Most people can come because insurance and health care like pays for it. People who can't, don't have insurance plans that cover it. We get a lot of grants from the state that allow them to
Right.
every day. So it's like 20 like from 8 a.m. to like 7 p.m. They have activities going on. They provide food for people. And I started volunteering there, and then it turned into a job for me after a few months, just because they were like really excited to have some younger people on staff. And I mean, I've never like not wanted to go to work. Like it's some like the best times. I get to do really whatever. I work in the kitchen sometimes. I get to lead activities with people, and it's people with really varying abilities. So there's some people who are fully able. They come there just to like socialize, just to like be around people, because unfortunately a lot of them do live alone.
They'd be home by themselves otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some people come because they need to be around a nurse all the time. They need caretakers all the time, and it takes a lot of stress off of their families because they can drop them off knowing there's like 4 or 5 like nurses on staff. There's people who have gone through nurse training, and like all of us go through training. But it's also just like a really happy place. There's live music all the time. I really enjoy being there because of that. Like I get to experience that with them. But also just I've made so many close friendships with the people, the participants that are there. And it's just like a great place. I love it so much. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's like some of my
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is so cool because I'm learning in real time as we're recording this, like what examples you both are sharing. Had no idea that there would be some symmetry even in the types of programs that you both have volunteered in and now worked in, and that it's been so shaping to not only get to know folks who are older and sometimes certainly wiser. We want to absolutely give credit to what other folks have lived through in generations beyond our own, but that it's mutually beneficial. You're both getting so much out of these volunteer and work opportunities. You're certainly giving a lot. But like the fact that you said, Esra, there's never a day that you don't want to go to work. That's not typical. Even if people love their jobs, there's still times where they're like, oh, I'm not feeling it today. And it's something that you love. I wish for every high school student, rising senior to have a job that they care about that much. Come on. But hearing you describe it, Rachel's experience is her experience and yours is your own, but I still see a lot of parallels into what these types of opportunities have given each of you. I'm wondering, Esra, do you have a favorite memory that stands out either from last summer or already in this summer that you could paint the picture for us about your involvement there?
During the school year, I started working like more, not full time, but like after school. And I met one lady because it depends on what your hours are. So you don't always see the same people. Like you might see different people on different days, different like time slots because they come morning, afternoon. And I met a lady named Elaine, and she has really long hair. She has pretty bad arthritis, so she's in a wheelchair most of the time and needs oxygen. But she's very like self-sufficient, really independent, moves around her own wheelchair, everything. Not big on like this like sympathy and like pity. She doesn't really like that. So, when I started going there, she's a little bit mean, but we would always play the games together. I started braiding her hair while she would play different games. And so it was like, now it's become kind of a tradition for me every day. As soon as I see her, I go. She has really long hair, but it's hard for her to get all of it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I usually go and do her hair really nice. Just because, it's important for them to feel like being seen well, like looking good. And so I started doing it for some of the other ladies too. And it's really nice because now like I'm very much known for like they'll call me over to do their hair while they're playing cards or things. And those are always my best memories with them because it feels really nice, even though like they are a lot older than me but we still have a lot to talk about, which is cool. And
Yeah.
I just really value that.
Human connection. I heard Rachel say it, and I'm hearing it in your answer as well, of just that everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants, to be loved and cared for. And so often aging adults are kind of made invisible in our culture and society. And so the fact that you're, yes, seeing them, but you're also like valuing who they are and wanting to make them feel really cared for, appreciated. Love a good multitasking moment that they can be playing cards and then like you're still caring for them alongside whatever other activities they're doing and just getting that attention and connection. It sounds like it's so beneficial to you for how much you love your work, but also that they're trusting you. They feel safe in your care, and that Esra has become the like, she's got you. Esra's got you. If you want your hair done, like she's going to make you feel extra cared for and extra beautiful. I think, you've described it as such an important place. You're going there after school. You're spending your summers there. Is it your sense of community? Would you go that far to describe it that way?
Yeah.
And if not, where would you describe a sense of community in this stage of life?
I feel like, especially with my coworkers too, it does feel like a really nice sense of community. I feel like that would be the best way to describe it. It is like much a really tight knit community. There aren't many problems with each other. And the few times that I have had problems with participants, like, you know how it is, old men, like it's just not always like the best work environment for like younger women, but my coworkers have never made me feel like that was ever like a problem. Like if a staff member feels uncomfortable, that is not like the staff member's fault. They focus on participants, but they also focus very much on keeping staff safe because like the staff are the people that really like bring together that sense of community and really like that sense of like belonging also like really centers on the staff like making people feel that way. And I feel it really strongly within our like work community. So I feel very protected and very like loved by a lot of these people who are also a lot older than me. But, I feel very like safe and it's a really nice feeling.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to applaud those staff members, whether they're leaders in the organization or colleagues or a combination of both, that have created that kind of atmosphere. Because just as I was saying, kudos to the people that gave a 14-year-old a chance with Rachel's involvement, like kudos to the people that are helping you as a 17-year-old feel like, yeah, even if there's challenging situations, things that might feel uncomfortable in day-to-day work, I know I can voice those. I can feel safe in this environment. I know people have my back and are looking out for me and want to make sure that I'm cared for, just as you're offering so much care, that you're not just there to support someone else, but you're also feeling, it sounds like, really supported as a member of the team and as of the staff. So folks, adults who are working with teenagers, working with young adults, working with young people, whether it's in a volunteer space or an organization that just has some sort of sport or club or activity, like young people notice the ways that you're caring. They notice the type of environment that you're fostering. And yeah, I hope for all young people to be able to say, like, my supervisors, my colleagues care about me as a person and want to make sure I feel safe as an employee, as a member of the team. Mm-hmm. I love that you could identify that. I want to continue the conversation with both of you about reflecting on spirituality. I'm curious if you define yourself as a religious person, a spiritual person, And does your sense of, however you define that, meaning, faith, spirituality, does that come into play with this organization, with your involvement? You've both described beautiful scenes where you're in supportive roles, caring for often people older than you, whether it's adults with disabilities or just adults with other social or physical needs. How have these roles connected with who you are as a spiritual person?
Yeah, so I do identify with the Christian faith, and the organization that I've been a part of is a Christian faith-based ministry. And so definitely through that ministry, I've been able to deepen my faith in a sense of understanding that all people have been created by God with a unique purpose in life. And though it may look different for each and every person, we all do have purpose and meaning. One thing that is, in a sense, kind of like motivated kind of my experiences is the part in the Bible where Jesus ate with pretty much everyone, the tax collectors, the sinners, the people in the lower class. So that's kind of motivated me to create a space to where everyone feels welcomed and included. And as I've transitioned to college, I attend a Lasallian Catholic university. And it's been really neat coming to a university where their values identify or their values align so much with like how my experiences with Shepherd's Haven have kind of like helped my identity form. So within faith, service, community, and different things such as inclusions, respect for all people, things like that. So that's been really neat to see how those experiences have impacted my faith.
Yeah, I love that the values of your university connect so much with what you're doing, where you've been, where you see yourself going, that they're further nurtured by not just an academic environment being supportive, but just the whole philosophy and approach that you described with this Lasallian approach, that charism really coalescing with how you want to show up in the world and your passion and your involvement in supporting adults with disabilities. Esra, how would you define yourself spiritually, and does it connect with this work you've described?
Yeah, so I think I do identify as a religious person. My parents were born and raised a Muslim, and also I was also as a child I was a lot more religious. But my family adapted to like a more Western lifestyle and like kind of like had to kind of adapt because we live in such a place where there isn't much of like a religious community for us. So it's more of like a cultural thing for me. Than it is like a practicing. I don't practice everything with Islam, and but most of my family is very religious, and I do love the religion, and I love learning more about Islam. My dad is a teacher he teaches about Islam at a college, so like I'm very educated on it.
Yeah.
I do think that it has strengthened that feeling, that like spirituality, that faith, because I see a lot of faith in the people that I work with. And I also have to sometimes rely on faith in a lot of like the harder times. We do lose a lot of people. A lot of people do pass away that that you love, that you've built these connections with. And I feel like during times like that, a lot of people do have to turn, to something stable, which is a lot of the time faith. So yeah, I think it has strengthened my sense of faith, definitely. And like using that as a way to like move forward, I think.
Oh, that's really tremendous. I mean, we often need something when it is like a place of asking bigger questions, that sense of just, okay, there's a faith that I've learned that's been cultivated in my family and in my upbringing. It shows up at different times, I think is really significant and beautiful to hear you describe. there's obviously no right or wrong answer to any of these things. We're just always curious about what sort of questions young people are asking, what connections they're making between their own sense of meaning making and the ways they're moving about the world.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what recommendations or tips or ideas you would both have about organizations helping young people connect to their work. The work you mentioned, you both started as high school students, and you can think about your own organization or just organizations broadly. What can organizations do to say, hey, youth matter here. Young adults have a place in this work, especially because it's not always the typical experience for both just situations you described for a teenager to get involved in this type of work. So yeah, what about it made it open for you and that organizations could do better for other young people to also be involved?
Yeah, I would say, as we touched on earlier, just like give the young person a chance. Just because like they may be younger or not have as much experience. That's really just an invitation to walk alongside them. And it can be really cool as an older adult to kind of help a younger adult kind of like find their place in the world. And that's just a really cool opportunity. Because I do think young people, really do need mentors and older adults, even if it's just a few years older in their lives to like pour into them, be a listening ear, things like that. That really made all the difference for me. And yeah, I would just really say that a lot of young adults are searching for belonging, just in a world with social media, competition, finding how to fit in, and where like, things in the world can just be like so loosely defined. Like people are looking, or young people are kind of looking for like a concrete way to like belong in their environment. So creating those opportunities are essential.
Yeah, I love that. And our research shows that as well, that young people are looking absolutely for a sense of belonging, but also what you mentioned before about just a mentor, a trusted adult who cares and who wants to invest in them. And I'm so glad you've had that in your life through this experience. What about you, Esra? Any recommendations? It can either be about the exact work you've done or as a whole, what organizations can do to really connect with and include young people in their work.
I think definitely more in general for organizations, but also like the young people looking to like be involved in the organizations. I think it's really important to, be really careful about the organizations that you do choose to be involved with, because I really think that if you get involved with something that you don't actually have any like a sense of like, oh, like you're not drawn to it, or like you just feel like you might like it, I think sometimes that can follow into like someone really like disliking not just the organization, but just the cause in a whole. I've seen that happen with my own friends working at places that, they're like the workplace isn't the best. The way they treat participants and people like isn't great, and people aren't happy there. And it kind of like spirals into like, well, the workers not feeling happy and kind of resenting the cause, And so I think that it's really important to like get involved with places that you really feel like you can make a difference and also like actually enjoy the work you're doing. Because I feel like a lot of the time there's like a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of these opportunities, sometimes people don't go into them with the right mindset. And sometimes people, go into them to build a resume or something like that. And I think it actually doesn't work for you. It works against you in the long run, just because you're doing something and you make a commitment, you have to do it and you don't like it. And I just think that like really goes against the whole, really like organizations as a whole. They don't want to make people feel like that, but it happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you show young people that their input is going to really make a difference, to make them feel like, okay, they're not just punching a card. They're not just signing in, but that their motivations, their interest matters here. If young people feel like it doesn't matter whether they're there or not, like why would they want to show up? But if they can feel like, hey, my time here is valued. My investment and involvement here is lifted up in a way that I'm an actual valued member of the team instead of just an afterthought, or we just feel like it looks good to have young people here. But if their input, their ideas, their passions can really come to bear, it can be that mutually beneficial place that you both have described, that you've gotten to give so much to these places and you've gotten so much out of it as well. Any last thoughts that you both have? It could be about anything we've talked about today or just about organizational involvement as a whole.
I'm really glad we did this topic for the podcast. I feel it really opens up, because I was really excited because I feel like this was one of the a project that really appealed to me, just being able to talk about this, because I'm always excited to talk about my work. It's just great.
Well, and like I said, I had no idea that you two would have something similar-ish to connect on, and then look at the symmetry in both of your lives and the organizations you've lifted up is really profound to me. Rachel, any last thoughts from you?
Yeah, I would just say that it's really important for young teenagers to be involved in something, just because those early experiences led me to study psychology in college. And now I'm doing research and getting to present at conferences, and all because of interests that I developed as an early teenager. So I'm really excited to see how even those experiences have set me up for success post college. So I just think being involved in something at such a young age is super important.
Yeah, I love that for both of you. And I'm excited for you two to talk well beyond today's recorded conversation about your interests in psychology, your passions for having these supportive friendships with folks well beyond your own years, and how that's shaped and is currently shaping both of you. Thank you so much for this today. Loved talking with both of you. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Esra. And folks who are interested in learning more, keep tuning in, because we're going to highlight 2 more organizations in our next week's episode of 13 to 25.
Visit springtideresearch.org to learn more about our research and resources, centering the perspectives and experiences of young people ages 13 to 25. As a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization, Springtide Research Institute is committed to listening to young people and sharing accessible social scientific research along with actionable insights. Visit our website to find ways to support our work and discover ways that we can support yours. You can find and follow us on social media at We Are Springtide. If you're enjoying 13 to 25, we invite you to rate, review, and share the podcast with a friend. And we'd love to share a conversation with you. Send your questions or comments to info@springtideresearch.org. Today's show was produced by Marte Aboagye, audio mixing by Andy Palmer, opening and closing by Amy Chow, and original music by Christian Unthank, who was 14 when he produced this track. Special thanks to the guests featured in today's conversation and all the young people between 13 to 25 whose insights and perspectives make our research possible. Thanks for listening and for supporting the teens and 20-somethings in your own life.